Patrick?
Yep.
Ball-Zee, what do you prefer?
Whichever you prefer.
Is Patrick not a good beatboxing name?
No, well, when I actually won that King of the Jam that you just spoke about, the guy said, "What is your name?" And I said, "Patrick." And I was like, "You can't be called Patrick as a beatboxer."
Why not? What's wrong
So then
with
we had a
Patrick?
team huddle with me and my friends, and Ball-Zee was the given
What's
name.
wrong with Patrick?
I know, that's what I said, you know? What's wrong with Paddy? Paddy the beatboxer.
Patty the beatboxer. What's your earliest memory of beatboxing?
Of me beatboxing?
Yeah. Or just remember of you seeing it.
The earliest thing that was anywhere near beatboxing that I saw was Police Academy, Michael Winslow.
Guy doing the sound effects.
Yeah, Motormouth Jones, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the closest thing to beatboxing even now. I think there is one film where he's sat in his room and he's doing a beat like... But apart from that, he was mainly the sound effects guy.
And did you like that? Were you like, I like whatever that guy's doing, I want to be able to do that?
I think everybody liked that, yeah. I think everybody...
But you more than most, maybe?
I think maybe it was when I heard the musical form of beatboxing, of using your voice in the musical sense rather than just in a sound effect sense that I really got hooked.
Like who? Who was the first person you heard that you really liked?
First guy that I ever heard do that was a guy called Killer Keller from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a beatbox legend. This was about 14 years ago. Yeah, I heard one of his freestyles that my brother brought home a CD, and he was like, "You just need to listen to this," and he put it in. And like the beats were, for the standard now, were quite basic, but back then when no one else had even touched on this sort of stuff, he was the best in the world.
Give me an example of like a real basic.
So he was doing the beat that I heard that was actually like, what the heck is that, and how is one person doing that? It was, I think it was like a drum and bassy beat, like.
Right.
Yeah, but nowadays, so this is
because it seems a little simple now. You're right. Compared
yeah.
to what you're doing in this show.
Yeah, no. So when I do my drum and bass has really evolved now, especially in terms of beatbox. So some of my patterns are like. Do you know what I mean? There's lots more going on in that. But having said that, when Killer Keller was doing these beats, like, no one else had even had that idea, or no one had done it before, and he set the tone and inspired me to do my drum and bass beats.
So what were you doing? Were you listening back to that and just mimicking it in the best you could?
I was trying to, and the beautiful thing about beatboxing is everybody's mouth is different and everybody's brain is different. So you'll try and do one sound and another sound. It won't sound like you want it to sound, but it can sound even cooler, or it can sound just as cool in a different way. So people try to copy sounds, and they either copy them and then add to them, or they copy them and they can't actually do them, but they do a similar, just as cool sounding sound. Yeah.
Is it hard to do beatboxing in a group like you're doing in Gobsmacked?
Yes and no. It can be very hard if it's not organised whatsoever, and it just becomes, especially with beatbox. I'm the only beatboxer in Gobsmacked, so I hold down all the percussion and the sound effects sort of side of things. And there's 6 other singers who have all different ranges. And it's very organised in the sense that everybody's got the music, and we all learn our parts. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the beatbox, I have a group called the Beatbox Collective, and very similar, we all know our parts, and we're the world team beatbox champions. So we know what we're doing, and we all have our allocated parts, so it sounds great, and it's not hard at all. In fact, it's almost easier because I've got 4 other people to rely on. However, if you do not plan what you're doing, and you just get, and especially with the young eager beatboxers, and everyone's really keen to show off what they can do.
Yeah.
And I go to these big competitions, and everyone's jamming outside, and it'll be a jam of 10 beatboxers, and every single one is, and the other guy's going, and the other's going, and it's just a wall of absolute madness. Whereas when it's controlled, it can be, it can sound amazing and be so much fun to be a part of.
I want to play a clip here. If you haven't seen Gobsmacked, instead of a drummer, again, as you mentioned, it's your voice that's doing the beatboxing. Singers are adding sounds and singing on top of what you're giving them.
Running through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. Wanna make a supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me.
'Cause I'm having a good time. Yes, I'm having a good time. I don't wanna stop at all.
You're listening to Q. I'm Tom Power. That was a clip from the a cappella show Gobsmacked. To be clear, every sound you just heard was from a human voice. Sitting across from me is the world champion beatboxer in the show named Ball-Zee. He stars in the show. That was his voice you heard doing percussion. It's pretty great, hey?
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
It's not bad, man. I mean, it's really pretty good. When you're listening to, like, that was Don't Stop Me Now. There's like Amy Winehouse songs in the show as well.
Yep.
How much of it is about you doing an interpretation of the song, and how much of it is about mimicking the actual song itself?
It's a fine blend of the two. I think I have to be able to do the song, so as close to the original, so that everybody so that it doesn't turn. I can't do a reggaeton version of "Don't Stop Me Now." It has to be like the original. Having said that, I have a lot of freedom. So if you listen to the drums on that track, for instance, they're not the exact same as the "Don't Stop Me Now" song. The time signature's the same and the tempo's the same, I think. But in terms of the fills and what I'm doing, I have a bit of free range. So if on the song it goes, "Don't stop me now," I can go, "Don't stop me now." Do you know what I mean?
And it's not going to mess everybody up too much.
Yeah, basically. I think in terms of the whole group, I have the most of a free role in that sense, because if you have a note to sing and you're supposed to sing da and you sing duh, it's not going to sound good.
I don't want to disagree with you, but like I feel like you have the most pressure of all here. Like you're the only real accompaniment. Like if you mess up,
yeah. If I mess up my timing, then if I really mess up in terms of go out of time or
you get to a beat too early.
Then it really stands out. It's obvious that it's me that's done it. Whereas if you sing a wrong note on stage, at least everyone will be like, "That didn't sound right," but I didn't know who did it at least, and you can be like, "That was me," but I'm not gonna own up to that.
So and they give you songs, and then you create to the songs that they give you.
Yeah, basically, what's really cool about this for me is that the guy who arranges all the music is a guy called Jack Bloom from London, and he's a beatboxer himself. So he knows all my style, and especially now after we've worked together for 3 years, he knows a lot of my sounds and the grooves that I like. So this is the difference that we have, I guess, to other a cappella groups, in the sense that when he's writing the music, he is also thinking about me and what I can do. So for instance, there's a sound that I use a lot, which I invented a few years ago, which is like a lip roll, like. So
Holy
I can
cow.
do so on. He can like write that into the arrangements.
Can you do that
as
again?
well as?
I'm just trying to figure it out. So if you listen on the radio, he has his mouth kind of pursed in on one side. He's
Yep.
also drinking a crazy amount of water. Understandably so, right? So your mouth's kind of pursed in, your lips are kind of out, and you're breathing in.
Yeah, it's all in. Yeah, so it's like without my lips touching, it literally sounds like this. With my lips touching, it sounds like. Wow. And you can tone it. And yeah, and you can put vocals underneath it. And yeah, so when Jack Bloom's writing all these arrangements, he keeps in mind, oh, he can do this sound that that will sound cool
Right.
there, or he can do this really cool fast drum fill that signature to him that no one else can really do. So he'll write that into the music, which gives us. Which adds a cool element, I think, to all the arrangements.
Can we do something? I played traditional fiddle music.
Okay,
You want to try something?
definitely.
All right, let's try it. I was gonna bring my banjo, but my buddy Tim has my banjo, so I'm gonna play the mandolin.
Tim, hey.
Tim. Can we count it? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You know what? If you need that part of Gobsmacked,
I was
I'm
just
in.
thinking, maybe I
Yeah.
can get you in on my solo.
Maybe I can get in it a little
Yeah.
bit and play a little bit of fiddle music for you.
Yeah,
So
well,
that right there, that was Muscles in the Corner, the kind of stairway to heaven of traditional Newfoundland music, with beatboxing by my friend Ball-Zee.
It was a pleasure.
That was fun, man.
It was.
I like
It
that a
really
lot.
was.
Yeah, I want to get down to brass tacks. We talked a little bit about the breathing in. What other kind of techniques are you using there?
In general, when I'm beatboxing.
Yeah. What parts of your body are you using? Maybe is a good question. Is it all mouth?
Well, again, that's a beautiful thing about beatboxing is there's so many different styles and different people, different mouths, different bodies. You can do all sorts of different things.
When you reached to scratch your eye just then, I was like, what's he going to do with his eye?
You can do anything. Yeah, I mean, you can. Sorry, what was the?
I'm just wondering, like, outside of the mouth, is there anything? I heard about what's the crab scratch?
Oh yeah, well that's what I actually just did then. So you can. I use, like I said, I'm very beatboxing. This is quite cool. So beatboxing is muscle memory. Just to give you a little quick like workshop, and also to let you know how easy it, not how easy it is, but how accessible it is for everybody to beatbox. I'm very right-sided, so a lot of these sounds that I'm about to do will be on the right side. So. So I know how to do them sounds because I just did them. But if I try and do them on the left side.
I want to point out that's not me doing them. That's you doing them on your left side. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
me
So
doing would
just-
be the sound of weeping.
Yeah. So it's lots of muscle memory. So it is literally just practice and practice like anything. In terms of what actually I use, lots of people do throat bass. I don't do it. I have a terrible one. I will try my best, but this is not my
What's
signature.
throat bass?
So you heard me do my bass, which is a lip roll, which
Yeah.
is like, which is no vocal. It's all lips and it's all air breathing in. Whereas lots of people do a bass, which is outwards and it's vocal. And it's actually reminiscent of like Mongolian throat singing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it
tuba
sounds
throat singing,
like,
sure, yeah.
whoa, whoa, you know, I haven't got a very good one, but some people can get really low. They'll be like, whoa, and it'll be like, you know, really low and a cool tone. So lots of people, that's like actual vocals, but I don't do that. So
And what's the throat? People tap their throats too, don't they? I've
Yeah,
seen
sometimes people do like,
But that's not your thing.
no, not really, no.
Feels like cheating.
So not really. I mean, I do the crab scratch, which is so you're asking things that is not part of the mouth, so to speak, or it's not solely the mouth. It's a crab scratch, and that people do it. They could do like that. They make like a weird little V with the index finger and
So
the
I want to
thumb.
point out, it's kind of like, he's taking his thumb and putting it. I'm trying to do the radio thing here too. So
Yeah.
you use your thumbs on the back of your forefinger.
Yeah. However, again, I don't do that one. I just put my thumb out like that, and you
Yeah.
have to find the right position in between your lips, and you
Yeah.
have to not underneath, but pucker your lips up like this. And if you do, say
See what?
say like t, but in, and also your thumb needs to be on the side like that. Yep. And eventually you'll go from doing this to doing this.
Ready? Ready
One,
for this?
2, 3.
There you go. Nailed it.
Killed it.
There you go. I sound like I'm just making kissy noises
I
into the
guess you
microphone.
can. I've never really done this, but I've seen people do it, and I'm going to try it for the first time. You can
All
do
right.
this.
Oh yeah. That's just kind of like that. Like
Oh yeah, so you're better at that than me.
that's just smacking. That's ham bone.
Hand bone.
You ever hear ham bone? In the southern United States in like the 1940s, 50s, and I say early 60s, there was like these guys. There's a thing called, oh man, I got you hear eefing?
Eefing.
It's these guys, and it's like southern Appalachian mouth music.
Wow.
So they would do like a lot of that kind of stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then
Amazing.
yeah, and they would kind of dance while they did it.
You know what? Every now and then something comes along, a clip on the internet, and it's not even associated so much with beatboxing, but because I'm a beatboxer, people always tag me in these random videos, and there's always every now and then. Like there was one dude at a festival. Like I say, I'm known for like a laser sound, so I do.
That's incredible.
But someone tagged me recently in a video of this dude at some random festival. It looks like the festival's all finished and there's just like garbage everywhere and the stages are all being packed away behind him. And I don't even know what he does, but he takes his hand and he does something like, I don't even know, like this.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he blows and
Sneezes.
well, I didn't know what to expect, and I have no idea what comes out of his mouth. It's something to do with the airway, the air pathways flowing through his hand, and the noise that he makes at the same time. But it sounds like 5,000 lasers going off at once. It's like I was blown away.
Because
I'm supposed to have a signature laser. I was like, what's this guy doing? He's not even beatboxing.
But I want to point that out. Like mouth music is like an incredibly old tradition. It's been happening like as long as there has been music.
Yeah,
people have been
totally.
making music with their mouths.
Longer than well, maybe that was the first music. Who knows?
So it's interesting to see you do the show, and I don't want to get too much into this, but beatboxing started with artists who couldn't afford turntables. It was a way of making that kind of music in early hip hop. You were someone around who was in those early days. You knew beatboxing as a subculture. Does the art form lose something when it's brought into big venues, big theater shows? Do you think about that?
I do think about that. Yeah. It's a good question. It's tough. I mean, that's the thing with beatboxing. It's such what my friend has an amazing quote about it. The single most powerful crowd animation tool or something. And it is because, it's so accessible to everybody because everybody has a mouth and everybody can relate to it. Even if they have no idea how you're doing it, somehow everybody can relate and people seem to be attracted to it. Which is amazing for us as beatboxers, but also the downfall in the sense that sometimes you get people who you can see have worked so hard on the craft and they do a lot of original stuff. I'm like quite a beatbox purist, so when I like to see people push the boundaries and do, especially these days, be original. There's so much beatboxing around now that being original is very important, especially in battles and stuff like that, but just in general. But what I don't like to see is when, especially in battles, when you get someone who is done all this amazing hard, like original work, and it sounds amazing, and they'll come up against someone. So, for instance, I saw this one guy do a beat, and it was all his own stuff, and it was so good. He did a minute on stage in a battle. Everyone was going crazy. He finished his minute, and then the next guy came up, and I'm not joking. He had 1 minute, and he went, and everyone's even lost interest. I felt sorry for him at one point because all the crowd started talking. I was like, oh, this guy's, he's lost this battle. And in the last 5 seconds of his 60 seconds, he went, don't you push your beat, sick like me. Don't you? I think that was like a Pussycat Dolls song or something that came out around that time. And all the crowd turned and went, and then it was like, who wins the battle? And I think back then it was judged on crowd reaction. To be fair, it's not judged like that anymore, and rightly so. But all the crowd were like, that guy, because he did a song that I know, and like the guy who was doing all his own original cool stuff, he lost in the first round of the UK Championships.
Right.
And yeah.
So there's a soul that can be lost here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just it can happen in anything. I guess that could be it could come down to beatbox being like I say, it's getting bigger and it's blowing up now, but also it's still such a baby in terms of an art form. So we have to have, it's a lot of fun and I really enjoy it, but we have to have these things like battles and stuff to help people get a foot in the door to become a professional beatboxer, or just to help the art form grow. Battles are really good for the scene. However, things like guitar and stuff have been around for so much longer that I guess there's no need to have a guitar battle. Yeah. Having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if you went to a place and it was judged on crowd reaction and you literally had like Steve Vai or Paul Gilbert or one of the best guitarists in the world do a solo, and then someone gets up and goes, dung, 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 and all the crowd go, and he'd win. So it's not necessarily just beatboxing, but yeah.
When you were beatboxing in St. James Park in London, just for a Jara Jam, did you ever think that this would happen? You'd be in a big show like Gobsmacked and...
Not really. I was very hungry, and I knew that I wanted to make beatbox my profession. I didn't know exactly what it'd be, but no, to put it shortly, I didn't think I'd end up in a show like Gobsmacked. But I always knew that that's the thing with beatboxing. It's so accessible and it's so versatile. You could be touring with a big rap artist. I have done solo shows, and I have a group called with the Beatbox Collective, and we do shows all the time. It fits into anything, which is really cool, and especially if you can adapt your own style to fit into certain, like, not just music things, but like theatrical things as well. It's not just limited to music, which is cool. But no, I didn't think I'd be in Gobsmacked.
Well, I'm happy you're here, man.
Yeah, likewise. It's cool to be here.
We got you a little something
for
helping us out.
Oh my
It's a
God.
jar of jam.
A jar of jam for the shelf.
Yeah.
Schmucker's Pure Raspberry Jam.
The one, the only.
The one. Look at that.
It's pretty good. Have you ever had
I'm
it?
blown away. No.
That's good, solid jam.
I can see. Look at the bits of strawberry in it.
It's going to be amazing.
Jeez Louise. Now I'm going to have to buy some toast.
Yeah.
Not bread.
You can buy
toast.
bread. No, I'm way too bougie for that. I don't even buy bread. I just buy toast.
Yeah, just toast.
Thanks for coming in.
No, pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.